Salam, everybody. Welcome to the class, or message. It's actually a message. Okay, great. People are writing down. Okay. That's awesome. I wasn't expecting to come on, actually, but Spirit, the Divine, really called me to come forward today. So I don't know what you guys have been going through, but I've been going through a very intense dark night of the soul the last 2 weeks, especially when Pluto went into Aquarius. That was kind of the warm up. And then we really feel the eclipse energy a week before. So the eclipse is actually less than 3 hours away now. Okay. And so my pressure is just, it was like I was swimming and then a big wave would come at me. And then I would recalibrate and I'd get my head up again. And then there'd be another wave pounding and pounding and pounding. And I'm sure people can relate to what I'm talking about. Internal challenges and then external challenges. But they're all for the good, right? Because it's about us becoming more and more our authentic self and adjusting. This time for the age of Aquarius and the cross of the sleeping phoenix, we have to be flexible. We have to be adaptable. We have to be creative, right? Creative. So anyway, I just want to review the chart a little bit and then get into the message for today. And that's great. So keep writing down your name and where you're logging in from in your Astro and Human Design details. So dark night of the soul. So if you're feeling that, you're right on board. That's what I feel. Okay. So the solar eclipse today, eclipses are big energies, huge energies. So they can bring sudden surprises, unexpected events, right? Internally and externally. And it's about getting us on the right trajectory, right? On our soul's destiny, our soul's purpose. So we have to remember why we're here, right? Sometimes it's really easy to forget when you're just putting out fire after fire after fire in your life, right? Dealing with this, dealing with that. We forget that we're spiritual beings having human experiences, right? So we have to remember that. And we're going through a huge transition, a global shift of the ages, and we're part of the team, the transition team, to help the rest of humanity transition into this new age, this new shift, which is a completely different way of being, right? So we have to adjust, right? So I wanted to talk too about the 144,000 templates. I think I talked about this before. We see this number a lot, right, in the Bible and other ancient scriptures. Some are looking at it literally. Oh, there's only 144,000 people, chosen people that are going to heaven, and the rest of you are going to hell, right? Well, these are templates. It's 144,000 templates. So one template. So one template or one fractal, right? And so we belong on one of these fractals. So if you're drawn to me, then you're on my fractal. You're part of my template, right? And so how do you know? It's like, well, Michael Neutrino speaks a language that I understand. I so get that. I so get him. I understand. It's like a resonance inside. Then you're probably on my fractal line and vice versa. Now, if you're going somewhere else, and they're drinking from the same spring of truth, but they're expressing it differently. And what I get is I can't even listen to some people. It's like fingers, and I know their content is good, but I just can't listen to them. I'm not resonating, like my energetics they don't resonate with that other person. It's not personal. It just means they're on another template. They're on another fractal line. So what happens is these karmic relationships, and they're just fueled with conflict and drama and, not a moment's peace. Maybe you get a week's worth of peace and then the drama's back again, but still you're drawn to each other, right? Well, this means you're on different templates. So this was about the karmic clearing that we're doing for our ancestral line, is that we would be drawn to these different people from different templates, different karmic fractal lines to clear clear the karmas, right, from our ancestors, So that would be the conflict. When you're on someone's template and fractal line, they're a soul ally. They're there to help you in your soul's purpose, right? They're actually a support. It's not about karma at all. It's about dharma. It's about your purpose. So this is what I've been really, I think the universe shut me down, right? Put me deep in the cave for these last couple weeks, because every time I try to get my head up and it's like I've got this work to do and that work to do, I would be shut down again. And it was about me. Oh, I need to go really internal and about myself, right? I've got the 27 twice in my chart with human design, and that's all about self first, like nurturing yourself first. So I had to go deep. I feel like I was forced to go deep in myself, and it's like, okay, I'm making this huge shift now, and how am I best using my energy? And this is a good question for all projectors to ask too, because we don't have the same energy as the generators, so we have to be really focused, right? It's one pointed focused. So these are the people I want to serve, right? Are people on my template, that are on my template. So that's probably you. So that's what I'm focusing on now. It's not about reaching tons and tons of people anymore. They've had their chance. Like, they'll be drawn to me. And I feel like if I just focus on serving my template and my fractal, then we'll build this magnetic, right? This consciousness, and that will in turn attract the rest of the fractal to us. But I really get a sense that these people are the Pluto and Scorpio generation, because I'm an early indigo. So Pluto and Scorpio generation, they're going through their Saturn return now. And this is a big deal, right? If you've gone through your first Saturn return. These are the indigos. So I'm an early indigo, but I'm a generation older than them. So a big bunch of them, and you may be one of them, or Sagittarius too, and the Libras, the Pluto and Libras. And of course, there's always exceptions, right, to the fractal line. So I feel like they're going to be ready. So it's like, okay, I remember that time in my life. I had to go down a lot of dead end roads during my first Saturn return, looking and seeking. And I wish I would have found me, right? Not from a narcissistic point of view, but I wish I would have found someone like me to help guide me along, so I wouldn't have gone down those dead end roads. So I want to be that for these people, right? Like, here's the way to go. No, don't go down there. Don't go down there. Go here. This is what bears fruit, right? So yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys that are here. And also the time that we're in right now, these karmic relationships, the chapter's closing. The chapter is closing, right? The two earths. You may have heard of this, like the earths are splitting apart. Now, are they actually physically splitting apart? No, it's vibrational, right? The earth is dividing now, and now it's time to make your choice. And this is what the solar eclipse is showing us. It's time to make your choice now. Are you going to commit to your spiritual journey, or are you going to commit to this old earth, right? Rooted in fear, rooted in ego, right? Or this new one that's coming, and people are making their choices now. I've had people in my life I would never have guessed in a million years they would choose the old earth. They had everything. It was right there in front of them, but they didn't choose it, right? So it's really up to your soul. So it's a fire. So if you're feeling this fire, I've been feeling this for 2 weeks, is burning inside, right? This fire, that's the fire for your spiritual journey. That's the fire to be your authentic, higher self in this lifetime, and to trust that, right? And so you go through huge purification when you choose this. You know this, and when you choose your spiritual path. So what's the spiritual journey, right, in a nutshell? Well, it's transcending this ego, right? And remember, I use worm tongue just as a form, to give him a form. It's about transcending the ego, the mind, the not self, right? These identities, right? These identities, the non-self identities. So you can have more than one identity in this lifetime. That's not you. So it can come from your conditioning, right? Who you were told you were by your family of origin, and then your teachers, and then your friends, and your family, and your religion, and your culture, and your country, and your government, all of that. You've been told that you're this identity and you're not. You took it on, right? So you can take on several identities just in this lifetime. But there's also identities that follow us from past lives. These are the core identities, right? So there can be a few of those too. And I've discovered through my own study that this can be tracked back to your chart, right? Your human design and mostly your Western astrology chart, right? So we're transcending this because this isn't you. This is a block to your true self. So transcending this, right? Facing your unconscious fears. Remember, in the Aquarian age, the unconscious is being made conscious. So all those fears that have been buried and suppressed in this lifetime and all of your other lifetimes, they're coming up to be seen and to be felt, right? These are your shadows, the shadows. And then the transcend your lower animal self, right? So remember, we're three parts. We're animal, human, and angel. So we're transcending that lower chakra, those lower three chakras. Does that mean that we become these, prudes and pure what? I don't sully myself with the body. No, this is about transcending. It's like it's still there, but you're transcending. You're not locked just solely in your lower animal self, right? It's there, but it's not ruling you. And then living as your higher self. There's no ego here in the higher self. There's no spiritual ego there in the higher self. There's no self-image there in the higher self. This is your authentic self when you're just being yourself. You're not self-conscious and you're subjective, right? You're internally referenced. Big S self-reference. You're not being referenced by the outer world. The outer world isn't telling you who you are and dictating your behavior and your thinking and telling you who you are, right? It's coming from deep, deep within. This is living as your higher self. This is the spiritual journey, right? This is the end game right here, is to live as your higher self, not living by ego mind, right? Not self. So why is this? It looks so easy, right? Well, why can't we just have this? Do a couple meditations and then we're there, right? What's the big deal? Well, Maya is ruled by this. This is the ruler of Maya, is the ego. The ego in you, the ego in me, the ego all over the planet. There's ego, 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 ego. And this is the not self. Our whole planet is ruled by it's a not self world. We're encouraged not to be ourselves because it's a threat, right? It's a threat to this ego. So you can't personalize it. This is what I tell people, is don't be blaming the WEF and Schwab and Gates and all those people. Don't be blaming them. They're just playing a role. It's the consciousness. This is the consciousness that has to be transcended, right? It's not personal. So the Maya wants you back to sleep. Come back to sleep. Forget about the spiritual journey, right? It's too hard. It's way too hard, unless it's like the new agey false light teachings that it's like the spiritual journey with the ego, right? Not without the ego, right? So come back to sleep. And distractions. There's so many distractions out in the world now. It's just crazy, especially with social media. You get on that phone and it's non-stop. So we have to train ourselves. We have to discipline ourselves. This is a spiritual warrior, disciplining yourself in consciousness, right? It's like, okay, I'm not going to avoid the news forever, but I'm not going to get sucked into it like it's a black hole that will suck you in if you let it, right? It's distracting you from your spiritual journey. And it's all about keeping you wearing this not self mask. Look what everybody else is thinking. Everybody else is of this political party, and this is what they think, and this is what they believe. So I get swooped into this group ego, right? And then I'm swooped over here because I have this sexuality, or I have this gender identity, or I have this, and it's all about keeping you divided and fighting, right? It's the low frequency of authenticity. There's difference, right? It's because it's rooted in ego. Stay in fear and survival. I can't even be near a TV. I don't even know anybody that owns a TV anymore. I got rid of mine as soon as I moved away from my family of origin. It's pumping out fear. It's all about fear, right? Like, listen to the music that they use in the news. I'm sure none of you watch the news. I'd be shocked if anybody here on this channel watched TV news, right? But this is the end game, to keep you in fear and survival, because this is this other earth, right? That they want us kept in, right? That I don't want to say they. I want to say that negative consciousness wants us to be trapped. Trap our souls in this, in fear, right? In survival. And this is our animal self, to stay in our animal self, because we can be controlled and manipulated when we're in our animal self. Not when we're in our human and angelic self, because we're in truth, the vibration of truth. Fear and survival can't touch us when we're in that space. And then giving your power away to an illusion. That's what Maya is, right? It's that which is not. The Maya. All the Maya is just all the projection of our mind, our unconscious mind. All of us are this collective manifestation. That's what Maya is. But it's coming from the unconscious, our fears and our shadows. And then Maya wants us seeking security out in the material world. And what is the material world? It's not real. It's an illusion, right? Why is it an illusion? Because it comes and goes, right? It's part of the phenomenal world, the material world. It has an expiry date, has a birth date and an expiry date. That's the material world. But your soul doesn't. Your soul was never born and will never die. That's what's real. That's where your true security is. And then the Maya is like, just take another body, right? Take another body, keep going, keep getting into distractions, and right, keep having more and more experiences, more and more human experiences. Stay on the wheel, right? Over and over and over and over and over again. This is what the Maya promises us. So you can see the Maya is not really supporting us in our spiritual journey. It is in a sense like a spirit in the highest level. Yeah, it's showing us the duality, right? Because it's the plane of duality. Well, I'm in fear and survival now. It's showing me that I'm not in my higher self, right? I need to shift my vibration now. So it can serve you in that way, but it's not overall serving you. That's why we don't see a lot of people living in light and truth on this planet, because it's not being supported, right? Because it's ruled by this ego. So there's what we think, right? This is New Age spiritual journey. She doesn't even have her hands in Gyan Mudra, right? I doubt she's even meditated this model, right? That it's all peaceful and joy, and I look so good, right? I look so good when I'm meditating. And this is not, meditation is not about this. If you're feeling blissed out all the time in meditation, then you got to get a new meditation, because the meditation is to cleanse that mind, right? To cleanse your subconscious mind, and all the crap starts coming up. That's what true meditation is, right? And so it's really this, but I mean, this is rooted in a little bit of ego to this woman, but just the spiritual warrior. I want to just get the essence of that. This is what the real spiritual journey is. Because this is not going to let you go. This ego and mind will cling to you because you're part of its existence. It can't exist without you, right? But you can exist without the ego and the not self, right? So these are the attacks that come, these ego mind attacks that will come. So I love this meme that I posted this week, because this is what it really is, right? This is before shadow work. Oh, like, I'm entering the spiritual journey. I'm really, really excited. And there's that honeymoon phase, when you get on the spiritual journey. It's so great, right? You're feeling bliss and feeling good. And then the real work starts, right? The honeymoon ends, and then the real work starts. And this is what you look like. And this is probably not even after shadow work. So I laughed when I saw that. So my message really is you should be feeling uncomfortable right now, right? You should be feeling uncomfortable right now. Maybe not right now in this moment, but you have been in the last couple weeks and then the next week. No, you say, Michael says, or I'm hearing no from you. Well, then that means the ego's got you right now. The ego has you right now, fooled and tricked. Or you're about to physically die, right? You're going to be moving on, right? So maybe sometimes yes, sometimes no, right? I can relate more to this. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Well, this is the oscillation between living as the ego mind, you're caught in the delusion, and then back into your higher self, right? The back and forth, the back and forth. So feeling comfortable, uncomfortable. And this is just a process until you become more and more into this, more and more back into the higher self. And this is the real you, right? The real you. So it's about trusting, right? Trusting your process that you're in. And this can happen on the external world, right? But really the source of it is coming from inside you, is inside you. So if you catch yourself, right? When you're in your ego and your mind and you're afraid and you're angry or you're feeling lost and confused or you're feeling hopeless, and you have no faith, you're filled with doubt. This is you're in the ego mind, but you don't beat yourself up about it. It's like, oh, I've just like swung into my ego mind, right? And then I'll be swinging back into the higher self. It's that commitment, right? The commitment to knowing who you are and that you're this and not this. So birth pains are uncomfortable, right? You're not going to grow and evolve without some pain, some birth pains. They're uncomfortable. And these are really blessings. So maybe there's some people in your life, you're saying, well, Michael, they're doing great. They're telling me how great they are and how wonderful their life is. And, right, they're riding on the clouds. And, well, they may be fooled that they're choosing, their soul is choosing this old earth, right? That they stay in this old earth. And they fell for the illusion. And that's between them and their soul. It has nothing to do with us or you, right? And remember that you can't save anybody. Even though you may have really good intentions and it sounds good, it could be a big distraction from you and your soul's journey. And it will just take you out of your higher self, because when you're in your higher self, you know that everybody's in God's hands. And you can't do that work for them. You can't get inside them and do that work for them. They've got to do it themselves, right? But if you're in your ego and mind, that wants you distracted. Yeah, you got to fixate all your attention on this person or your child or your husband or your wife, right? And this is a big distraction from you and your own spiritual journey. So these are blessings. If you're going through a tough time right now, right? Or you're feeling what I'm talking about, this up and down, up and down, up and down, and not feeling stable, emotionally stable, then these are blessings. But just remember, this too shall pass. If you're up and down, that means it's going to pass, right? It will pass. Yeah, and then the people not uncomfortable, they're choosing the old earth, and that's okay. So you have to make your spiritual journey your number one commitment right now, right? And once you do that, maybe you haven't like formally done that to yourself, right? To yourself, like I'm formally committing, this is the most important thing to me right now is my spiritual journey. Well, then you're going to be tested. That's what the universe does. That's how life works, is you'll be tested in your commitment, right? To see how... right? Are you going to be firm in your foundation, your foundational roots? And remember, your lifetime has given you so many experiences that you're ready for these spiritual tests, is what I'm trying to say, right? You're ready. You're fortified. You're strong. You're strong. So don't underestimate your strength, because you've got the power of the divine behind you. You can handle anything. That's the infinite, right? Doesn't get more powerful than that. Right? But you'll be tested. And the test is just about your faith. Are you going to put your faith in this ego? right? That doesn't give you one iota, not even a little quantum particle of love comes from this ego for you, right? But then you've got the other side. You've got the love of the divine behind you, right? So it's about putting your faith and trust in the divine. Even if it looks like everything's falling apart around you, your whole life is falling apart. Right? There's so much loss. Everything you value is going away, right? It can bring up that ego, right? This is the dark night of the soul. Don't listen to this crap, this spiritual crap, right? Look, where's God now, right? You got your rent to pay next week. I don't see any money, right? This is the devil. This is like the devil. If you want to let's get biblical here. It's the ego. That's what the devil is the ego. That's your test. Are you going to listen to this? Or are you going to stand firm in your spiritual commitment, right? And put your faith in the divine. And then move through these tests. So that's what I kind of want to warn people. I don't want to scare you, but I don't want to be lying to you either, right? That the spiritual journey is some cakewalk where you just have to get up every morning, look good, and right? do a meditation, close your eyes. It doesn't work like that, right? Or test it. Which brings me back to the eclipse. So remember we've got this channel of mutation again for the lunar eclipse that's coming up in May. So we can't escape this, and this is great change that's happening. This is a global transit. This is mutating to the whole new species, mutating to a whole new earth, a whole new vibrational frequency, right? Of these two earths that are going to start to separate. This is the Cro-Magnon and the Neanderthal, right? Those two species that coexisted at one. This is what's going to happen to us. So we'll have the Homo sapien, but we'll have the Homo sanctus, right? These two species coexisting at the same time, but we're not going to be able to understand one another in a way, right? Vibrationally. Okay, so we've got that, and this is Pluto, right? Opposing the sun and the moon and making this channel. So this is a powerful mutative process that we're in. So remember at the beginning of the video, I was talking about, I felt like I was like in a tunnel or a cave, right? Or deep underwater, and I would try to get my head up. I get a breath, and then the wave would pound me back down again. Well, this is the 360, right? It's the life was saying, no, it's a time to gestate. It's not time to be expressive right now, right? For me in the last 2 weeks. So there's that. And this is about letting go. Completely letting go of how you think that your life should go. Who should be in your life, or what should be happening in your life. Letting go of all expectations, right, with this mutation, and let the mutation happen because it's happening deep within you. It's happening within our DNA, actually, right? Deep within our human DNA. So this is happening. And if you have this channel natally, then you're an agent for evolution, right? But we're all going to be impacted by this. Doesn't matter if you have it or you don't. And then the 5027, it's all about what are the values worth preserving for you. What are your values? This is what I got people to do in the solar or the soul purpose activation webinar, the first class, is to get clear on your values. What are your values? What do you stand for? Here's a few, right? Honesty, courage, creativity, peace, harmony, love, whatever it is for you, right? What do you stand for? And this is another, right? What do you stand for is going to dictate where you go, right? Are you going to stay with the old earth, or are you going to the new earth? So it can't be a mind thing. Well, it sounds good, like honesty sounds good in my mind, but I'm not really honest in my life, right? I wear this mask all the time, and I'm a people pleaser. I'm not really honest. That's not going to work. It's got to come from deep within you, right? And how we know with our values is what drives us crazy when we see somebody not being this I can't stand it when people are not kind to one another. They're cruel to one another. Well, that value is important to you, right? Kindness, right? Your reactions out in the world will show you what's important to you, right? What values are important to you. Or it could be courage, creativity, peace, harmony, whatever it is for you. But these values aren't coming from the mind, they're coming, or from groupthink, right? They're coming from deep within your soul, right? So what are the values worth preserving? This is a good question to contemplate during this time for the solar eclipse. And then my favorite, because I have it natally, the channel of emoting, the channel of romance, the 3955. And this is the shadow of provocation and the shadow of victim, right? So provoking your victim, right? The solar eclipse through some events, right? Maybe going through a loss right now, or you maybe got a reoccurring health crisis has just popped its head again. You thought that you dealt with it, right? An old problem coming up, like an old problem coming up. And the old problem is always connected to the not self, right? The not self ego, to bring that out, right? And what's behind that is spirit, right? So what is hiding your spirit from coming forward to being fully manifested, right? Fully incarnated, your spirit fully incarnated, living as your higher self. Well, this channel will show you where it's not, right? And that's the thing with duality, the plane of duality. When we desire something, I desire my spirit. Yes, I want to be my higher self. Yes, I want to be free. I want to be free from this mind and this ego, right? In this lifetime. Well, this will show you where you're not, where it's not working, right? So that you can see it and you can feel it. Remember, the 55 is all about feeling because it's coming off the solar plexus. Yeah. So just remembering that, right? Not go into reaction and why is this happening to me, the victim. Everybody has it so much easier than me. Why me? I'm a good person. Why is this happening to me? It's happening for your growth and your evolution, right? So that you can see it. You can see what's blocking you, right? You can see what's blocking you because it's the eclipse. It's the moon between the sun and the earth. Remember the last video I talked about that, so that you can see these identities that are from your past. So I think people can probably relate to that, especially if it's old stuff coming up, because it needs to go. It needs to go to prepare for the new energy. We got to be the light. We got to travel light. And we got to spread the light, right? Okay. Let me just... Oh, awesome. People of Toronto, Natalie. Jen, of course. Another BCer, Darlene, Kitchen. Lori in Oklahoma, Florida. And then M. Baines, of course. Yeah. You going through the dark night of the soul too, M. Baines says. Kalamazoo. MG. Facing worst fears, yeah. Yeah, okay. Angela Mansur says, I'm definitely on your template. Thank you, welcome. And Cat Kiss. Great questions, yeah. Reflector, yay. Karen Michaels from Arizona. Karen. Feeling impatient for this, Catherine Rosen, yeah. The ego, yeah, the ego needs a nice shampoo, eh? I don't think they had... Did they have shampoo down in the back in the Lord of the Rings? I don't think so. Yeah. The soul knows everything. right? And then it knows nothing at the same time. So if there's a hot tip too, if you're in doubt or confusion about something, say to yourself, I don't know anything. I don't know anything. And that empties your mind so that you know everything, right? That's the paradox, and that the answers will come to you. Yeah. Yeah, so my message too is just to embrace this discomfort. It means that you're growing. It means that you're growing because we're living on a planet right now, and I can see it. I can see the trajectory that we've been on, especially in the United States. This comfort. It's like, right, this culture of comfortable. I want to be comfortable, right? I want it, and these people are not going to be able to I was talking to a friend the other day and asking him a question, what does he think is going on right now? And he was saying that he's concerned with the younger generation because they don't know how to handle a challenge, right? They've been so comfortable, they've been so protected in their bubble. It's not all of them, right? But I can see that, right? This whole culture of comfortable. I want to be comfortable. I don't want to get uncomfortable. And this is what, the medical system preys upon. Like, oh, you got a backache, here's a pill, take a pill. Instead of like, what's the source of the backache? Where are you not feeling supported in your life? Like going to the deeper questions, right? Yeah. So really resist this. This will be a carrot in the future, right? Take the comfortable way. We'll do it all for you. We'll do it all for you. You just give your freedoms away. Okay. Great, Monica. Okay. So that's what I want to leave with. And the other idea I have too, and if you're on my newsletter, I'll probably describe it more. My old way is like I do write a whole copy and, on my website about when I'm launching something new. So the other idea is that I want to, it's the divine orders about doing group coaching. So this would be with a limited number of people, like no more than 12. 12 seems to be a magic number. And so it won't be like the old programs that I do. These would be like meetings. We would meet once a week on Sundays because Sundays are the best days. Of course, we'll have a theme and meditation to talk about, but it's really looking at your chart because everybody's chart is so different, and how it works is it's a group consciousness. So the people that are attracted to it usually have the same kind of themes, and so that I could coach you according to your human design and your astrology chart and whatever you're facing that week. Right? Whatever games that ego is playing or what Maya is playing, and help guide you through that. And then, of course, the group. So I'm going to send that in my newsletter before I put a lot of work in setting things up to see if there's an interest for that. Okay? Otherwise, have a great solar eclipse. It's best to be near water, right, during a solar eclipse. So if you're near a body of water like a lake or the ocean, that'd be a good time to go tonight. Or in a bathtub, right? And even if you don't have a bathtub, just have a bowl of water or something near you, and just and maybe do a meditation and go deep within and listen, right? Listen to your guidance because this is a time of great change right now, right? And you want to be picking the new earth. Right? And this means discomfort because we're being birthed, right? Each one of us is being birthed. Okay? But remember that God is with you. The divine is with you. Never, ever, ever are you separated, even though the mind may fool you that you are, but you're not. Okay? So guidance is always there. Okay? So have a good eclipse, and I'll talk to you soon. And if you're on my newsletter, you're going to hear from me very soon. Okay? And then the solar purpose or the soul purpose activation is Sunday. It's going to go through this week. Okay? Okay, Sat Nam Aloha, everybody. Bye-bye.